Hello, welcome to Build, the birthday edition. It's my 46th birthday, and today for class, I'm going to teach some of my favorite exercises. So we're going to do 4 sets, a ladder down 90 seconds, 60 seconds, 45, 30. We're going to be working glutes and hamstrings, chest and upper back and biceps. So you need a chest press set of weights. You need a bicep set of weights. I'm going to use my biceps for an all fours row, but if you need different weights for that, grab them. You need a heavy for glute bridges and a heavy weight for hamstring curls, as well as a ball for underneath your abdominals. Okay, let's get started on the mat with your feet slightly wider than hip width distance apart. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Okay, and then exhale, lower down. Do that again. Take an inhale, reach your arms up, lower down. One more time. Inhale, reach your arms up. Take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Take a big side stretch up and over to the right. And then go the other way. And we're going to go into a turned out squat. So reach your hips back, reach your arms forward, and stand up. So a squat is very similar to a glute bridge. That's something we're going to be doing a little bit later on in class. So focus on getting your hips back and then squeeze your glutes as you stand up. Try to hold on to that squeeze as you lower. So it's not just going down as low as you can go, it's holding on to that engagement with your glutes. We're going to take this into a modified burpee because that's also one of my favorite exercises. And hey, it's my birthday, so I get to choose anything I want. Last one, hold the squat, plant your hands, step your left foot back, your right foot back, right foot forward, left foot forward, stand up. Okay, we're just going to stick with the left, left, right, right, left, and stand up. This is a good way to open up your hips, get your heart rate elevated a little bit. Realize how annoying this little birthday sash is. Might be coming off. Step forward. We're gonna do one more on this side and then switch sides. Step back, left, right, left foot forward, right foot forward. Do that again, step back. So your feet come slightly wider than hip distance, and you're gonna try to bring your foot all the way up. If your foot's landing back here, most likely you've got tight feet, shins, or hips. So rolling is in the cards. At the very end of class today, we're gonna do a glute roll. So if you've got some recharge balls, grab those. I prefer the alpha set. Last one, you're gonna hold the plank. Step back and then hold this plank position. Soften through your elbows, pull up through your ribs, open across your chest, reach along through the crown of your head. Child's pose in 5 counts. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set your knees down, shift your hips back, and then wiggle your hips side to side. And then come up to all fours for a cat-cow. So you're gonna take an inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, flex your spine. Just rinse and repeat a couple of times. Good, last one, flex. And then come back to neutral. I'm gonna walk forward a little bit so I don't hit the weight behind me. Extend your right leg back, your left arm forward. Turn your thumb up, your palm up. Lift your leg and you're gonna bend at your knee and your elbow using your hamstrings and your biceps to curl your arm and your leg in. So really try to connect with the muscles on the back of your right leg and the front of your left arm. Even though you're not using weight here, try to activate those muscles, awakening and connecting your brain to your body. Last one. And then switch sides. Reach your left leg back, right hand forward. Bend at the elbow and the knee. Really contract your hamstrings as you curl your leg in. Contract your biceps. You're finding something called internal resistance. You're not loading the hamstrings and the biceps with an external weight or load, band weight. You're finding that internal resistance. Last one. And then set your knees down. Keep your hips high over your knees and slide your hands forward. Melt your chest down. And then take your hands a little bit wider. We're going to be doing some chest presses today. So feel that chest stretch across your chest. And then come up via a downward dog. So plant your hands, hike your hips up, pedal out your feet, get a stretch for your calves, Achilles, feet, and then walk your hands and feet towards each other. Carefully round up. We're going to start with biceps today. So we're going to do biceps and then chest press. So it's 2 upper body exercises. Um, and then we'll be doing all fours row at the end. Okay, when you pick up your weights, this is really important. Bend your knees and hold in your abdominals. So I see a lot of people just kind of rush through the picking up of the weights, and that's where sometimes you can get into trouble. Okay, you're gonna curl up, biceps curls, and lower down. Curl up, inhale, lower. So I'm usually start with double biceps. You'll see me as I get tired, especially because I've gone up in weight quasi recently. I'm still adjusting. You'll see me start to alternate. So notice that I'm not leaning back, got my knees soft. I'm bracing through my core. I'm trying to maintain alignment. I'm not using momentum or swinging the arms. This first set's the longest set. 90 seconds. It's gonna feel long, but the good news is everything after this is a little bit shorter. Another option I like to kind of support my back is to stagger the feet, kind of make like a kickstand. Sometimes that will prevent you from leaning back. If it causes you to lean back, then don't choose that option. Go up, lower down. 20 seconds left. I think I started biceps at around 4 pounds. And over the last couple of years, I've made my way to 20 pounds. Last 6, 5, I'm gonna alternate. 4, 3, 2, and 1. You want to be getting to that point where you're like, you don't want to do any more, especially with those 90-second sets. If you felt like you could keep going, you want to go up in weight. Okay, next step, give your arms a little break. Grab your heavy weight if you want it for glute bridges. So you're gonna put that weight across your lap. I kind of put it more on like the meaty part of my quads instead of my hip bones. And you can choose feet wider than hips like we did in the turned out squat, or you can bring your feet into parallel. We're gonna do a couple different sets. So if you wanna mix it up, go ahead and do that. I'm starting parallel. So lower your hips down, push up squeeze. Think back to that squat we did during the warm up where your hips were reaching back, but you weren't going as low as you could. You were trying to find the engagement at the top, squeeze your glutes, and then lower down while still maintain that connection. Inhale down. Exhale, press up. So it's not a tap and lift. This is not about, trying to be on a certain beat or certain tempo. It's about controlling the descent and then power through your glutes to lift back up. You're working in both directions, just like you did in your biceps. You work as you lower your weights with control and as you pull them away from gravity. Push and squeeze. Get 90 seconds total. Next set will be 60 seconds. So this first set is going to be considerably longer. Push and squeeze. Lower down. Push and squeeze. Last 10 counts. We're going to hold at the top just for fun. Lower down and down. Lift up and up. The more intentional, the more present you are in your body, the less time it takes to really see or feel, I guess, the effects here. On this last one, hold the up, push down through your feet, squeeze your glutes, tiny presses up for 8, 7, 6, chest press coming up in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower your hips, roll that weight off of you, get it out of the way, and then you want to roll up to grab your chest press weights before you lie back down, because if you try to grab them from a supine position, you're just in a compromised position. Okay, I went up in my weights. I added 2 pounds to each side of my chest press weight. So we'll see how this goes. Take your elbows out, take an inhale, push up, and then lower down. So we're combining longer duration, and I combine it with heavier weight because it's my birthday and I'm feeling stronger this year than I have probably in the previous 45 years. And, I want to see what I can do. My goal is to gain a couple pounds of muscle this year. So in order to do that, you have to go up, stepping stone, you're up, weight up very gradually. You also have to fuel. So before this class, I had a big smoothie with some yogurt for protein, chia seeds, hemp seeds, blueberries, fiber, some creatine, some spinach. Really important to make sure you are fueling your body. You'll get more out of it that way. If you're not fueling and you're working out, you'll be depleting your body. Push up. Inhale down. Press up. 6, 5, 4, 3. Got one more. 2. And whew, that was heavy. Okay. Come to your abdominals. I've got a heavier weight behind me. I didn't have quite the right weight between the glute bridge weight. It was a little heavy for my hamstrings, and my chest press weight was a little light. I'm using 35 for my hamstrings now. So it did require me getting out an extra weight. But again, it's worth it when you're really dialed into your potential. Okay, curl in and in. Grab the weight with your feet. And then use your hamstrings to curl in. Initially, when I started doing this exercise, it's tempting to use your back because your back is used to firing. So it takes a little, I don't know, decoupling between your brain and your back to just kind of give your low back the day off and try to connect with your hamstrings. What really helps with this is are the exercises we do without the weight, like the banded hamstring work, the hamstring bridges, right? Being able to connect to your hamstrings and then leverage that brain body connection to activate your hamstrings when you are adding more load like this weight. Hamstring strength is important for balancing out your body. If you have really strong quads and weak hamstrings, you're going to have hip problems, knee problems, back problems, IT band issues. So it's important to find that balance. Also with the ball, make sure the ball that you're resting on is underneath your belly button and not under your chest, or it will cause this kind of like arching. If you start feeling this in your back, check the placement of the ball, make sure your abdominals are pulled in, make sure the weight isn't too heavy, because if it's too heavy, you'll strain and then other muscles will come to your rescue just to make the movement happen, even if that means that they're not the muscles you're trying to target. Last 4 counts. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and set that weight down. Come up to all fours. I'm going to take that ball and store it between my inner thighs. I can already tell with this next exercise, that little thing is going to get annoying. Okay, grab your weights. I'm using the same weights I used for my biceps. We're coming into an all fours row. So take your weights slightly ahead of you, and you're going to keep your arm locked to your side. So pull your left arm back, let your upper arm graze toward or along your rib cage rather, and then think about pulling the elbow back towards your hip rather than going up towards the ceiling. So you're rowing it back versus up. Yes, is it lifting away from the ground? Yes, but you're not going like this. You're not trying to lift the weight this way. You're thinking about a little bit more of a horizontal lift than a vertical. This also challenges your core stability because you're loading one side, stabilizing with the other. So this is good core work. Inhale down. So lift up. So this is the last of your exercises. Doing 5 exercises today. My favorite number is 7. I was trying to figure out how to squeeze in 7, but I just couldn't figure out. So we're doing 5 plus a glute roll plus the burpees. There you go. My 7 favorite things. Pull back, reach forward, back. Notice how I'm getting like a little hang time. This is not about how fast you can move. This is about how well you can activate those muscles. And I got to move a little slower to really pay attention. Last one on the right. And then set down. Make sure you're even if you start on the other side. Okay, make your way to standing. I'm going to set the ball aside. You can keep it for biceps if you want. Bend down. This is now your second set. This is going to be 60 seconds. So a little bit shorter. I'm going to stagger my feet, roll up, lower down. Inhale, lower down. Got to really use that breath, engage your core, stabilize your spine. Go into my alternating because the 90-second set with these heavier weights definitely kind of cooked my biceps. So adjust as needed. Sometimes if I really feel like I just can't even get through like half a set, I'll set these 20s down, grab 15s. Just because you pick up a heavier weight for one set doesn't mean you need to use it for all the sets, at least not initially, right? It's about making incremental progress. All right, last one. Set down. See how my form was starting to get sloppy? That's a sign I have reached failure, which is what you want in progressive overload training. If I were using the weights I use in the Alkalign class, I'd be able to do those bicep curls for like multiple minutes. Alkalign is working on different muscle fibers than build. So different exercises, different intentions call for different weights. Okay, this time I'm going to take my feet out a little bit wider just because I like how it challenges my glutes. But if you choose that, you do have to push out with your outer thigh so your knees aren't turning in. It is a little bit trickier because you're recruiting some smaller glute muscles that aren't used to firing as readily. If you've been doing offline classes for a while, I'm sure your glute med is much more turned on than the average population. Most people suffer from something called glute amnesia. I think the alkaline population is not one of them. Push and squeeze. Lower down. So control it in both directions. You want to make the cadence of the way up and the way down pretty equal. You have 6 more counts. We're going to hold the top in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the end. If your feet are out, think about pulling your heels toward each other as you press your thigh bones out. Hold 4 counts. 3, 2, and 1. Set that weight aside. You gave your upper body a little break during your glute bridges. Now you're going to go back to it with chest presses, alternating upper body, lower body. Okay. Grab your chest press weights. Lie down. I'm trying to make sure I don't hit my head on that weight. Okay, bring your elbows out to 45 degrees. Take an inhale. Exhale. Push your weight up. And then peel your weights apart. Push up. Peel your weights apart. So you heard me mention I want to gain a few pounds of muscle. How do you know if you're gaining muscle? You have to get a scan, either an in-body scan or a DEXA scan. I get DEXA scans every 6 months. I will say the first one's terrifying because it shows you your percentage of body fat and your percentage of muscle. It can be a little scary, but it's a good baseline. So you just kind of have to get over the baseline and then, start training, eating right. The goal here is that you lose fat, especially that visceral fat that's in your abdominals and inner organs. That can be really dangerous. You lose that and gain muscle. Last one, press up and then lower down. If you see me riding the struggle bus, it's because, again, I've gone up in weight recently. This is only the second time I've used these 27-pound weights. So it's hard for me. I was at the 25 for a long time. Before that, I was at 22, 20 before that. I just slowly go up as I feel like I'm ready. Curl in and in, lower down and down. It's not to say you're going to go up in weight in every single exercise all the time. I can't imagine, especially in some of the shoulder work, I'd be going up much higher, but I do continue to do that work for maintenance. Well, in and in, lengthen out and out. Again, check your back. Make sure you're not arching your back or using your back to pull your heels in. Strong hamstrings also help with back stuff. If you have back pain or you notice like your back hurts when you stand for long periods of time or walk around, sometimes like people in the kitchen, like making a big meal, they're standing for a long time, their back will hurt. This is going to help with all that. When I travel, I try to walk as much as I possibly can. We went to New York earlier this summer. We were walking like 9 miles a day. Not an ounce of pain because of all this training, right? So Alkalign is a means to another goal. This is what allows you to do other things in life you like, whether that's gardening, pickleball, golf, right? This is going to allow you to get here. All right, last one, set it down. I almost always run over in the hamstrings because I love them so much. I forget that time is up. Okay, last set. We're gonna go all fours. This is your 60-second set of all fours. This time I'm just gonna start on the right just to mix it up. So draw your right arm back, lower it down. You're alternating, so it doesn't really matter which side you start on. Go back, reach forward. So kind of, birthdays are a time to reflect on the past year, set goals for the next year, appreciate what's going well, take note of anything you want to change. And I think my biggest reflection is just the difference that flip-flopping my workout priorities has done for my body. Long ago, I was cardio only. You guys know I was a cardio junkie. I ran, didn't do any strength training, no stretching. Obviously no rolling. I didn't know about that back then. Then about 15 years ago, I started prioritizing the body weight, strengthening stuff like our Alkalign class. Felt a lot better. Didn't hurt anymore. Wasn't pounding my body into the ground. But, it sort of plateaued. And with the stress of COVID and significant change in my business and my brother being sick for 6.5 years, it just added a lot of inflammation to my body. And I've noticed that really dialing in the nutrition, which I felt like I was pretty good at before, last one on each side, and prioritizing these 3 strength training workouts a week has made all the difference. So never too late to change it up. It is hard, right, to take on a different mindset, right? We get used to it or get used to, we convince ourselves that it has to be that way because it's always been that way. And that's not true. You have permission to change things anytime you want. Okay, 45 seconds. Let's go. Held down. Sail up. The other thing I hear people say is like, oh, is weightlifting going to make me bulky? I'm short, pretty short, 5'3". I don't think I look bulky. I think I look strong and lean. Again, I've lost a lot of fat, not lost any muscle. I've gained bone density. If you're overeating and, doing a ton of like heavy weights, which is not what we do. Last one, 45 seconds went by fast. Ooh, but also got to failure. If you're overeating and doing a lot of weights, like you'll bulk up, right? But that's not from the weights, it's from the extra calorie consumption or the inflammation in your body. But yeah, so the nutrition is important, right? Can't out exercise your fork. Lift up and up here for 45 seconds. It's amazing how much shorter 45 feels than 60. Obviously 45, half of 90. So I like these descending ladders. The ascending, we're going down and then back up. Brutal. Over, down and down. Lift up and up. So if you feel like you can hear me kind of breathing heavy, that's because These big muscle groups we're working today require a lot of oxygen, a lot of blood flow, get your heart pumping. My heart rate is definitely higher in the build classes than it is in the align classes. Sometimes it's as high as it is in a cardio class, depending on the format. Kind of cool. I don't do as much cardio because I get a lot of heart stuff, the higher intensity stuff in this class. And of course, the zone 2 from the align. Last one, lift up and up. Lower down and down. Okay. Put that weight aside. Watch the clock on these because 45 seconds goes by a lot faster. You're used to doing minute sets. Sorry, let me move this way. It goes by really fast. Take your time in the transitions. If I'm transitioning too fast, you can slow it down, pause the video, whatever you like. Okay. Got a step. Lower down. Feel like the breath gives me the extra power I need, especially in these ladder sets. Ten counts. 9, 8, 4, 3, 2, and oh, that was exactly 45 seconds. Okay. Hamstrings. I'm gonna stand up. So I know you stood up to grab that weight. That's because I don't want to risk picking up a heavy weight from a compromised position. Okay. Grab a hold of the ball or the weight rather, belly ball underneath your belly. And then pull in and in, lengthen out and out. Curl in and in. So you're working in both directions on the curl in and as you lower. So you can imagine the floor that you are lowering the weight towards is made out of glass. And if you just let go, it's going to shatter the glass, which is not good. So just like the biceps, we curl in, we lengthen with control, concentric as you pull in, that eccentric lowering as you lengthen out. Last, forget what time I started. I get so into the hamstrings again. Last 6 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently set that weight down. Come on up, grab your all fours row weights. 45 seconds. Pull in, lengthen up. Again, think about pulling the weight back towards your hip and lower it down. Find that little hang time. Make sure you are activating your upper back. You are not compensating with momentum or your trapezius muscles or your low back. We started on left. I started on left, so you're going to finish on the right. You've got another 15 seconds. Just make sure you're evening yourself out as much as possible. Nothing's ever quite even, nothing's perfect, but just do the best you can. One more each side. Last one left. Last one right. Let's set those weights down. Come to standing. Grab your bicep weights. Last set. I don't know about you. I am sweating. Okay, and your knees. Okay, 30 seconds. Roll up, lower down. Really go for it this set. Again, you're not getting to failure. Time to go up in the weights unless you're in maintenance phase. If you have exactly the amount of muscle you want and you're not worried about gaining to compensate for age-related muscle loss, then stick with where you are. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Never been so grateful for a 30-second set. I do not think I could have done one more biceps curl without severely compromising my form. Okay, 30 seconds, glute pushes. Hold your hips up, lower down. Parallel or turned out, just pick the one that feels, best for you today. Maybe that's more challenging, maybe that's more intuitive. Control the descent. Push up, squeeze. You can definitely feel my heart rate elevated. Lower down, lift up. Last 6. 5. Hold the top. 4, 3, 2. Final hold. Hug your heels in. Draw your inner thighs in. Wrap your glutes around. Hold 4 counts. 3, 2, and 1. Put that heavy weight to the side. You are finished with it. And then grab your chest press weights. Keep down, so I'm hitting my head on that hamstrings weight. Okay. Third of 5 exercises. Last set. Push up. Lower down. Set. Now lower down. So as I get tired, I will slow down. It means fewer reps, but better form. It's not about reps. It's about how many reps you can do in a certain amount of time. More is not more. And as you get tired, you will naturally slow down. Last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. My arms feel like jelly. I'm very excited to roll my glutes. Dreaming about that. Okay. Put the ball underneath your belly. Grab the weight with your heels. Curl in and in. Lengthen out and out. So I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I wouldn't consider this to be a beginner class, but any class you do can be a beginner class based on what you're using for weight. So I always recommend when you're starting a class, start with body weight, get the mechanics of the exercise down, then you add lightweight and you see what your body's capable of. You don't want to jump straight into a heavy weight for this exercise if you've never strengthened your hamstrings before. And I certainly didn't jump to 35 pounds overnight. This has been a 2-year process, right? So take your time. If you go too far too fast, you'll end up getting injured and then you'll feel discouraged and frustrated. Last one, set that weight down, coming up to all 4s. This is the last set. I'm gonna start this one on the right. You do you. Doesn't matter. Again, we're alternating. Okay, 30 seconds. Back. Reach forward. Hold back. Reach forward. Last one on each side. Last one right. Last one left. And then set those weights down out of the way and take an extension stretch. Melt your chest down. Wiggle your hips a little bit. If I give you a little stretch across your chest. Come to all 4s. The weights out of the way. Lift your right arm up. Thread your right arm through. You'll stretch for your shoulders. You're working upper back and back of the shoulders. And then if you open up, wrap around, you'll get a little stretch across your chest. And then switch sides. Lift up. And thread your arm through. Breathe into your left shoulder. And then you can wrap the right arm around if that feels good for you. And then unwind. Take the ball out to the side. Lie down on your abdominals. Grab your left ankle. With your left hand, drop your tailbone down. Push your foot up into your hand. And switch sides. Little quad stretch. And before we flip over, press up into all 4s and do a little scapular push-up. So puff up the space between your shoulders. Draw your shoulder blades together. And see if you can restore a little blood flow and mind-body connection to those muscles in your upper back. We worked them earlier in the week. We worked them today. It's good to tune in. All right, and then come to neutral. Cat, cow. And then come to neutral.
If you want to join me for a little glute rolling, grab the balls. I'm using the alpha balls. I prefer them because they have the most surface area. I just cover a lot of the glutes at one time. You're going to take one ball to each glute. If you only have one alpha ball, you can do one set at a time for sure. Just, when I'm finished with both sides, just rinse and repeat. Okay. Put the balls right underneath your glutes, and you are going to kind of roll side to side. I put my feet together because I feel like I get a little bit more stability and I can go a little bit further into the glutes on each side. Start to let your heart rate come down. The warm up and the cool down are just as important as everything in between. We kind of race from one thing to the next in life, all kind of blurs together. And that is really stressful for your nervous system. It needs time to like ease in. It's kind of like, when you take your time, you need your coffee in the morning. You need to have that time before 1,000 people start asking you things. Your body needs that time in your workouts too. It needs your coffee at the beginning. It needs like the downtime at the end. Kind of wraps like the nice little bow around the workout. Without it, your body just feels like it's in fight or flight all the time. All right. Now I'm going to take one ball out and just focus on the left glute. Cross your left ankle over your right and just roll from your sacrum to the outside of your hip. If you have that second ball, what I like to do with it is tuck it right in my low back of the right side. So you get a little low back roll on one side and a glute roll on the other. Very, very efficient use of time. Little life hack. This is a great area to roll when you're watching TV or just mindlessly scrolling through your phone, which you're going to spend time doing anyway during your day. If you do it here, you're getting the benefit of the rolling. Plus, you have that support for your neck. Your neck's in alignment while you're mindlessly scrolling, and your head's not hanging forward, looking down in your lap, right? So just find little ways to incorporate this stuff throughout the day. You don't have to add on time. You just have to find places to incorporate it into what you're already doing. Okay, switch sides. I'm going to put the ball underneath my right glute, underneath my left low back, and then cross the right ankle over the left. If you want more pressure on the glute, you can take this out. This does distribute the load a little bit differently, but I like that little QL roll. Glutes are probably my favorite thing to roll, followed by my low back, and that tends to be a fan favorite for most people. So what is this rolling doing? It's helping you identify where your glutes are, which hopefully you already did during your workout, but if you roll before class, that will help you connect your brain and your body a little bit better. It's also restoring blood flow. So this is going to help you recover better. So if you feel like, you're really sore between workouts, obviously you need full day in between these build classes, but rolling will also help with your recovery. Also good for just hydrating your tissues, circulation in your body, all of the above. Okay, take the balls out. Keep your right ankle crossed over your left. Come into a figure 4 stretch. This stretch is really important for your sciatic nerve and avoiding sciatica and piriformis pain. And then switch sides. So especially if you sit a lot in a car or at a desk, try to do at least a figure 4 stretch a day. All right, and then we're going to find your final resting pose. You can bend your knees, you can lengthen your legs. In fact, I'm going to actually just butterfly my legs open so I don't hit my head. Take one hand to your heart, one hand to your abdominals. Take an inhale and exhale. Inhale some gratitude. Exhale anything that isn't serving you. When it comes to inhaling gratitude, I just want to thank you all for continuing to support Alkalign. This has been a game changer for me and for my health and for my aging process. I feel like I'm aging better than I could have imagined. And I hope that it's adding to your life and your longevity as well. So take as long as you like on the ground. You can use that squishy ball to roll your abdominals or to roll your upper back. You can use the alpha balls to roll anything you like, but just enjoy. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.